As I say, crooked Hillary, crooked Hillary. She's as crooked as they come.
Donald Trump piling on after the State Department IG report found Hillary Clinton violated the rules in using a private email server. And we're back now with the panel. Well, let's take a look at how Clinton's numbers have dropped since the story first broke back in March of 2015 about her private email and personal server. Back then, it's interesting to note, 47% had a favorable view of her, 50% unfavorable, basically even. Now that's down to 37% favorable, 61% unfavorable. Same with whether she's honest and trustworthy. In March of 2015, 44% said yes, 52% said no. Now it's 31% to 66%, which raises the question, Britt, does the IG report do any damage to Clinton, or has the damage already been done?
Well, the damage has been done, but political campaigns are fluid and people's opinions can shift and change. This, however, I think helps to cement in place the notion that she cannot be trusted. And it's just one more step in that direction. And, you know, this is an unusual campaign, Chris, in which each of these candidates, Trump and Clinton, seem to be each other's best hope. And, you know, really is what's striking about the recent rise in the polls of Donald Trump is that it coincides with a period of bad news for Hillary Clinton, and her vulnerabilities become his possibilities, and this is just a further example of that. It's remarkable.
We asked you for questions for the panel, and we got a bunch about the IG report. Guy Gracie Center, I don't know if that's one person or two, wrote us on Facebook, if she did this when in the State Department, what will she do if she becomes president? And John Garnett writes, does anyone really think Hillary will be indicted? Will she be prosecuted? Or will Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, give her a get-out-of-jail-free card? Susan, how do you answer them?
Well, I don't think we know what the results of the FBI investigation are going to be. Legal analysts have looked at this, I think have been skeptical that she's going to be indicted, but you never know where investigations go. And while the Inspector General's report is very critical, I don't think it does new damage to Hillary Clinton. An FBI conclusion that was more serious, I think, could do some real damage to her. You know, it's interesting. She's going to be the first woman nominated by a major party to be president. Women candidates usually have to deal with whether they're strong enough. She's fine on that. Competent, people think she's competent. This honest and trustworthy issue, this is her Achilles heel when it comes to her election. It's an issue she really needs to figure out a way to address, to at least improve those numbers to some degree.
Susan, do you think the Colin Powell defense gets her off the hook?
No. Because number one, Colin Powell is not running for president. She is. And number two, I think all of us of a certain age understand that use of email has changed even in the period from when Colin Powell left the State Department.
12 years ago.
Yeah, and Hillary.
The policy changed under
then the policy changed. But we know that Hillary became, yeah. So I think number one, there's some differences in the context. And number two, he's not running for anything.
And as I said, I'm not going to vote for him for president anyway. Meanwhile, the Democratic primary race continues. Even though Clinton has declared victory over Bernie Sanders, here they both are.
I will be the nominee for my party, Chris. That is already done, in effect. There is no way that I won't be.
Just a tinge arrogance there, I think. And I kind of think that on June 7th, people of California will have a message for Secretary Clinton.
George, how much damage is Bernie Sanders doing to Hillary Clinton, and what, and it certainly seems possible now from these closing polls, what if he actually beats her in California?
Well, it'll be 2008 all over again. Indeed, his persistence in this campaign is an exercise in what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. In 2008, California came late, as it always does, and the nomination contest was really over. She persisted in California against Barack Obama, beat him by some 400,000 votes, 8 points, handily, didn't make a particle of difference, and didn't prevent the party from becoming united. People say, why is Sanders doing this? First of all, look at him. He's having the time of his life. Huge crowds for a backbencher from Vermont, so that's part of it. Second, people say, well, yes, but he's not being a good Democrat. This is the first time he's ever run for anything as a Democrat. So his attachment to the party might be slight. Third, In 1960, Barry Goldwater, junior senator from Arizona, went to the podium at the Chicago Convention and said, let's grow up, conservatives. If you want to take back this party, and I think we can, let's go to work. He's the nominee 4 years later. Now, Sanders isn't going to be the nominee 4 years later or any time. But he may have the sense that Barry Goldwater did, that there's a movement out there that needs fueled to transform the party, and he may do it.
Do you think he's hurting her by staying in? I mean, I understand your argument that she did this to Obama, so it certainly is right. Do you think it's hurting her for him to stay in the race?
I don't think it's doing lasting damage. I think a month from now, people won't remember.
I was going to ask you about that, Ron. How confident are you, or how likely do you think it is that Sanders, in the end, gets on the podium and holds hands with Hillary Clinton, holds them up, and much more importantly, what about his millions of supporters?
80-20, he gets up on stage. She gets a lion's share of the voters, of his voters. Some might stay home. In the end, it really doesn't matter. What does matter is this authenticity and honesty issue. I mean, look what we had today. You had the spokespeople for two of the campaigns come on and lie to you. Corey Lewandowski saying that they're winning among Hispanics. You called him on that. And the spokesperson for Hillary Clinton repeating her misleading statements about the email over and over and over again. And it's why we now have a situation where among independents, among people who haven't decided who they're going to vote for, the unfavorability rating for both Clinton and Trump is minus 74 percentile. So the biggest casualty in this campaign is the truth. Neither one of these candidates are worth trusting. And campaigns aren't just about who's going to win on Election Day. Campaigns are about how we're going to be led. And no matter who wins this race, we're going to have somebody in the White House who has shown again and again and again they can't be trusted.
What do you think of that, Brett?
I think that's what a lot of voters feel. That the choices, you know, everybody was always saying and always did, going back to 1960. I remember my parents just saying, you know, Nixon and Kennedy, what a terrible choice we have. So this is a quadrennial, perennial, if you will, and
Not to this
but
degree.
to this extent, it's greater than I've ever seen it. I mean, I think most people believe that the top two finishers in both parties were unacceptable choices.
Can I trace it back to a conversation
And
I
at a time
had?
when we badly need a successful presidency and a serious and able leader, we're not likely to get one from either candidate.
Shortly after the email scandal broke out, I talked to one of her senior people. Right after I wrote that, Democrats and people close to Clinton were saying this is all about the email, hiding the email is all about the blurring the lines with the Clinton Foundation. This senior official sat in her office and told me it really doesn't matter. Trust doesn't matter. Because I was saying this is going to bring down her trust figures, and even if she wins the election, it's going to make it so she can't lead. And a senior official, a longtime friend of Hillary Clinton, said trust doesn't matter because Bill Clinton won despite the fact that he wasn't trusted as much as Bob Dole. Well, obviously, that's not the case. Trust does matter. You can't lead if people don't trust you. You might be able to win if you're running against Donald Trump, but trust does matter. They were wrong about that then, and they're wrong about it now.
Susan?
Well, you know, just looking at this politically, here's the question. If voters look at these two candidates and find them both unacceptable, do they not turn out? Does you have very low turnout and only people on the fringes turn out?
There's a new poll today that says people are
not excited.
They're interested, but not excited about this choice.
Or do they feel so alarmed by the prospect of the other guy that even though they're not enthusiastic about this candidate, they turn out and we have very high turnout. And that's one of the effects. The very first question you asked, the impact of Barack Obama, that's where Barack Obama could have some impact on really ginning up turnout among African Americans and helping Hillary Clinton among younger voters, which is the demographic group with whom she has the biggest problem.
We have found that Barack Obama can do that for himself. He's not been very good at doing that for anybody else.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right.
All right. Thank you, panel. See you next Sunday.